Hi buddy, it's Julie here and I'm so excited. The video I'm going to share with you today is me making this album that I'm going to use for December Daily. So I thought I was going to start by sharing you how it turned out. So you can sort of have the image in your head while we're going through the different steps. It's really easy. It was so much fun. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And yeah. So I'm going to start with Simple Stories Snap album, and these are really common. They don't cost very much, and yeah, so just a normal 6x8 album. And what I'm going to do is start off with here is just to gesso inside and out, and this little album is going to have quite a lot of layers on top of it. But yeah, so I'm going to do the gesso, and then I'm going to paint the album white, but not yet, obviously. So yeah, the inspiration for the album comes from my color scheme. I knew I wanted a really bright white frosting look for this December Daily. I'm not sure how it will go because I'm usually leaning a bit more towards vintage in the Christmas season, because that's the season I can do that. But yeah, I'm really wanting white, silvery sort of feel. The next step after one coat of gesso is I'm going to add some modeling paste through a stencil, and this is called Flourish or Foliage. Foliage, I think, is from Prima, and I just love this stencil. It is just amazing. It is very pretty. So I'm going to use some Ranger texture paste, and I really like it. So what I do is I go through the areas that I want the images, and then I can just go back with my palette knife and pick up the places where I don't want the image to be. So if I want just a flower, then I can pick up the other things around it, and in that way I can sort of control the image a bit better. And because I'm doing it is quite early on in the process, you're not going to notice if you have picked up the modeling paste that you sometimes can do if you just do it on a layout or something, because I'm going to, like I said, cover this in white acrylic paint in the next step. So yeah, um, and this obviously going to need to dry, so I did that in the evening, and then I came back the day after. So this modeling paste dries really quick, but I wanted to make sure I didn't sort of accidentally did something to mess it up. So now I'm just going around picking up the sort of leaves or flowers that I didn't want, so I can sort of control the shape of it. And when I've done that, I'm going to sort of prop the album up a bit so it stands up, because I want just a single flower on the spine of the book to have some interest there too. Because in the end, this album is the most part of this is going to be shown is actually the back when you have it, or in any case in my, when you have it on the bookcase. So I wanted there to be something on the back. So I just put a flower there. So this is the day after. And I decided that I have gesso on the inside, and I'm going to leave it at that. I like it. If you don't like this sort of raw look, then you can just go ahead and paint it. But I like it, and I have gone through one of my plant books and pulled out two illustrations that I think are pretty Christmassy. So here we have a pine illustration, so I'm going to put that on one side, and then on the other side there's an illustration of holly, and I thought that was kind of Christmassy too. So I'm just going to use some matte medium to glue that down, and this is not the best matte medium I have used, but it works fine. So I think the key is that you use it on the back of the paper, so you sort of pre-wet it a bit, and then sort of use the brush to sort of smooth it out. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter. This is just going to be some fun things on the inside, but if you're going to do this on the cover, I would use a good matte medium or Mod Podge or whatever you like, and then really make sure that it sticks, and maybe go over it once again when it's dry, just to make sure it sticks. But this is just the inside and just for fun, so I'm not going to be too pedantic about it. So I just added a coat of white paint. I didn't think you wanted to watch me do that. So many coats of paint. And now we're going into the final stretch almost. So I have some silver paint and I'm going to buff that on the entire album. I really liked the album, how it looked when just pure white, but I couldn't leave it like that, could I? So now I'm going in with my, I'm using brushes and I'm using my finger just to buff the silver, to really emphasize the texture that you get from the modeling paste, and also around the corners. And yeah, I really like how this starts to look. And I'm not done with it yet, so I'm going to do this, and it's going to add some depth to the book. And like I said, I'm going to go with white and silver for this year. In my previous years, I've been very like mixed in metals quite a lot, but this year I'm trying very hard to stick with just silver. So I'm making the cover quite having a lot of silver to really sort of remind myself, I think, to it is silver this year. When that was all dry, I came back with a nail file, or you can use whatever, and sort of buffed the embossing. So I do this for two reasons. One is that the embossing can be a bit rough, and this is smoothing it out, but it also adds more texture because now there is not silver on the embossing, it's white. The modeling paste is coming through, and it just adds even more dimension and texture without it actually feeling like it is too raised up, because you're actually sanding it down. And then I'm using that and some Prima-Tool around the edges, so I'm actually getting some of that craft poking through too. And I'm so happy with how it looks. So now I'm going to add in some fun sparkle here, and I started with frosted lace, which is my favorite one. It really has that frosted look, and I think you can see me struggling quite a bit. But I used that, but then after I'd filmed this, I got an order from a scrapbook store where I had ordered some stickles. They didn't have frosted lace, but it had icicles, and I thought that was close enough. But it has a very fun iridescent shimmer to that. So in the video you will see how that looks, the close-up video. But otherwise we are done. That is it. I'm super happy with how it looks right now. We are just weeks away, a bit more maybe. So yeah, here is how it looks. I'm super happy with it. Now I'm just going to start filling it, and I will have to wait a bit for Christmas, but I'm really happy with how the album is, and I hope you liked the process video and how it came together. And yeah, I hope to see you soon.